Um, now I forgot what the title is.
Homeschooling moment.
A little dirt don't hurt.
Yeah, little dirt don't hurt. We are going to talk about how a little dirt don't hurt. You know, we've been bombarded with the media sitting there going, wash your hands, clean your house, wash your hands, CV, sickness, disease. What is the other word that we just said, the trigger word? Social distancing. All these things are going on, and we have children. Children are sitting at home. Children are being caged at home pretty much. And I thought we would discuss this because a lot of kids being at home are being on computers and TVs and video games a lot lately. And in fact, TV viewing among kids is at an 8-year high. On average, children ages 2 to 5 years, just 2 to 5 years of age, spend 2 to 5 or 32 hours a week in front of a TV. That's like pretty much close to being a full-time job. Watching television, DVDs, DVRs, videos, and using a game console. Kids ages 6 to 11 spend about 28 hours a week in front of the TV because they're busy on their iPhones or their this and that, or Zoom, talking to their peers, because the older kids, they like to at least socialize a little bit. So you have that, and you're sitting there and we're wondering why our children are getting fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter and more unhealthy. Well, that's because they're sitting around, and here we have this social distancing thing. Well, a little dirt don't hurt. The reason why I brought up a little dirt don't hurt is it's time, people. It's spring. It's wonderful. Even when it's raining outside, let your kid go outside, jump in the mud puddles, make mud pies, tell them not to eat it. But if they do, it's not going to kill them. Have fun in the dirt. Go garden. Stick your fingers and stuff in the dirt, because you know what? Where was man created from? He was created from the dust of the ground, the dirt. We need that dirt. In fact, mamas and papas out there, you should go out and ground yourself. Get your shoes and socks off and go stand in the grass and just stand there for a little bit and ground yourself. It's good for you. We need that time being outside, getting good and dirty. And my kids, especially my 2 boys, when they were younger, they loved to go out in the rain and wrestle in the mud puddles. My daughter loved to jump in the mud puddles, and get them outside. They need to be outside. They need the fresh air. They need that dirt. They need to be a little dirty. Yes, you can hose them off. That's what hoses, I believe, were invented for. They weren't invented for gardens. They were invented to hose off children so that they can come in good and dripping wet clean, so you don't have to sit there and clean the mud off the floor, but you do have to clean the wet water off the floor. So that's what my homeschool minute is, and I figure we can discuss a little bit more about how dirt don't hurt. It's that simple.
Dirt don't hurt.
I mean, come on. When we were children, we didn't. I know I didn't. I know Mark and Sherry. I know there's people out there that did, that are younger than us, but we didn't have computers. And my daddy was like, the TV ain't here to entertain you. The TV is here to inform us of what's going on, and for Dad to relax a little bit and watch it and then go to bed because he's had a hard day at work. TV was not for your entertainment. And Saturday morning cartoons came along. We got maybe 30 minutes to watch it after breakfast, and then we were sent outside to play. And oh my goodness, we played with rocks, and we played with sticks, and we played with things that, today, if you played with that, you might die. At least that's what some people say. So, love to hear it. Sherry, go for it.
Well, they have proven that if you, a lot of you're building your child's immune system, for one thing. And when you allow them to get into the dirt, and I'm not talking about filth, I'm talking about just plain old ordinary dirt, go out and play, roll in the grass. When we were little, if somebody got a new refrigerator or something, we got the big old cardboard box, and we'd put somebody in there and we'd roll them around, or we'd get in there and we'd roll around. And then finally, when it went flat, we'd take it up on a hill and use it as a sled. I mean, we didn't need a lot of toys. We made our own. We figured out how to play. Kids today really don't know how to play because they have to have something with them. But we got all this dirt. And then I have a friend and her son, I'm not going to say who it is because her son would be shocked and appalled that I'm telling this on him. But when he was a baby, he ate dirt. He literally would be sitting there. We were at Sukkot with them, and they were sitting there, and he reached over on the ground, grabbed a family, and went like this. And you looked at him all the time. He all had this little ring of dirt. She said, I have tried to get him to quit eating dirt. I have washed him. I've tried to teach him. I can't get him to quit eating dirt. The pediatrician said, it's okay. Don't worry about it. He'll spit out what he don't want. And he would. He spit out the little pebbles and stuff. Now, you look at him, he'd be like this. They'll be brown. He ate dirt. And evidently there was something in that dirt that his body needed, you know. And so a lot of times we think there is a reasonable line between super hygienic clean and keeping our kids clean, because like you said, a little dirt don't hurt. And you know, all these people are using these antimicrobial chemicals in their homes, and their antibacterial soaps, and they are proven that they are actually contributing to antibiotic resistance. You know, it's pulling our immune system down because we're relying on that to
I've heard that
to take care of the bacteria, if that makes sense.
One thing about those also they're finding out is we have good bacteria within our guts, okay? Mm-hmm. And we're putting that on our skin, the antibacterial stuff. Our skin absorbs everything and it goes into our system, and it's killing the good bacteria in our gut. The other thing that was interesting that I was going to bring up, and I just found the article here, is getting dirty for better mental health. Getting dirty may also make you happier and less stressed. Some studies suggest the effects originates in the gut. So, you know, we have that as well, those microbes and everything that we're touching it. And again, our skin is absorbing the minerals and the microbes and the good things. And, you know, yes, we can absorb bad things too, but good dirt and good, clean fun. And what I mean good, clean fun is getting dirty, climbing trees. You know, I'm sure, Mark, you climbed a tree. I'm sure you played in the mud as a child. Your mama didn't sit there and wrap you up in a saran wrap and put a bow on top of you, right?
No, but she was pretty protective. My mother was very protective of me.
Oh, wow.
My brother and sister are 9 and 8 years older than I am, and I was her baby, and she was pretty protective. I mean, we played. She didn't not allow us to play in the dirt and do stuff, and you know, all that kind of stuff. I mean, I did all of it, but you know, it really boils down to, as I'm listening to both of you, a lot of times it boils down to your social, economical status. In other words, if you come from rich parents, for a lack of a better way to put it, and I know there's better ways to say this, but if you come from money, then your play time is different. You play indoors probably more than you do outdoors, and you have different things to play with. I mean, of course, nowadays it's a whole different story. I can't even relate, but I'm 65, so you know, when I was a kid and thinking of you know, people that I knew and the way that what they would do in their time. And even when I was a young teenager, trying to rack my brain and think about it, you know, I mean, if you came from a lower economical background, you know, you didn't come, your parents had no money, but you were, you know, you didn't live on the street, you know, type of thing, then yeah, you'd probably play in the dirt a whole lot more in your yard if you had a yard. Another thing is living in apartments. You know, what do you do when you live in apartments? You don't really have the dirt to play with. You might even have more like a concrete playground, or the area around your apartment building. Joe, you live in apartments, so you know it's just not, there are not as many places to play in the dirt. You have to go look for dirt to play in, you know, whereas
The gutter.
I grew up in a very very good neighborhood, and I had the toys, but I also had the dirt and things I could build things with, and all types of things. So anyway,
And you're right.
it just depends.
You're right about that, because you talking about that brought back a memory. I had a friend who, her parents, her dad was a doctor and her mother was a lawyer, and they lived in the really ritzy part of the school district I was in, to where we would go to their house. There was really no yard except for a little patch of yard in the front, and the backyard was a cement yard with a pool, which was really fun, especially if you lived in California, jumping in the pool and swimming.
Sure.
So they stayed pretty good and clean, where Joe, her entertainment back then as a 14, 15, 16, up to 17 years of age was tackle football with the guys in the mud. And my friend looked at me and she goes, "Oh no, that's just no, ew."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "That's so much fun. Come on." And I got her to do it. And when she came home, her mother was like, "What did you do?" She was really upset. The other thing is, in the apartments here, I've watched children play in the little patches of grass that we do have, or in the gutter, you know, the curb area where the water flows, the gutter area. They're like making little dams and stuff. So they play in that area. But yes, if you know, back in the day, I remember the upper class area of town, the kids didn't get as dirty and muddy, but us kids, normal kids, as I would call them, we got to pull them into that, you know, and they didn't understand because they weren't raised that way, especially when they got older. And I got her to play in the mud, and she enjoyed it. She thought it was fun. And she kind of joked with her mom. She goes, "Well, Mom, you go take mud baths, you know, what's the difference?" Sure. So yeah, we need to just get our kids out there. This social distancing thing and you know, worrying about germs and stuff has gotten a little overboard. Well, a lot overboard, really. And let your kids be kids. Let them go out there and play. Let them get a little dirty. Like I said, man invented that hose to hose them down. You know, to hose them down. I did that with my kids, even when they were teenagers. My kids worked in a farm, and they'd come home filthy. I mean, filthy from baling hay, taking care of chickens, building barns and everything. And my son would come and he'd tap on the back door and yell, "Mom, I'm home." And I'd come back there and I said, "Okay, hold on." He'd walk about 20 feet away and I'd hose him down. And it took about 10, 15 minutes to hose all that farm stuff down. Wow. So it's something good. Let your kid even build a raft if you have a little stream going through your yard, or a creek. Some people call it creek, some people call it a creek. And have them make a little boat and watch the boat go down the stream. Let them build the boat. That gives them thought process. It's healthy. They get fresh air. They get vitamin D. They get those minerals from the dirt. They end up with stronger immune systems playing in the dirt than sitting at home playing video games and watching TV. And I understand that it's easier to corral your children in one spot and have them sitting in the TV and everything. Sure. But you need those children to go out and run and play and get that energy out too.
Yep.
Well, no, they wanted us to go out and play, so we would be in a coma type sleep at night when we went to bed. It was just
you remember eating dinner and falling asleep in your
yeah. And I tell you, this where we are now is an old farmhouse. And it actually started, well, anyway, I'm not going to tell you the history, but anyway, it's half of one house. And the guy that rebuilt this house has the other half. We've laughed about that. But when we moved here, our bathroom, we had a back porch, and our bathroom had a door that when you went in the back door, it went directly into the bathroom. because that's where they would go into the bathroom and strip off those clothes and get a shower. So a lot of people have that type of floor plan in their housing that they can step right into, and it doesn't hurt. I mean, you get exposed to the things, and your body throws it off, and I guess our apartments were different from yours, Mark, because we lived like in government apartments, and all they had were those little walkways, but they had big, huge grassy areas, and we had a gazillion kids to play with. I mean, we were always out there. But the thing of it was, all the older people there would look out their window and they'd say, "Is that Miss Mary's child? Yeah, that child shouldn't be doing that. Miss Mary, your child is doing so-and-so." So it really does take a village to raise children. We couldn't get away with nothing. Some old woman was always calling our parents.
Sure.
And that's what mud rooms are for too. Here in the Midwest, they do mud rooms. You strip down in the mud room. And in fact, I had a towel and everything for my son to strip down after he got hosed down in that mud room. And he ain't taking those clothes into my kitchen, because we had the mud room connected to the kitchen. And yeah, we got in trouble too in military housing when I was growing up, and we were in military housing, and even in regular neighborhoods, the neighbors would be calling my mom on the phone. "Joe's at it again. She's up that tree." But it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Good thing. It's a good thing.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.